Okay, so I'm going to read my journal entry that is about my experience having this proposition take place when I was leaving CVS the other day. So here we go. The proposition. The other evening, I went to CVS across the street. I'd left my purse in a family member's car after going out, and I was going to get it back the next day. It was too late to drive back over, so when I didn't have my purse and my newly purchased book, I was stuck without having something to do. I didn't want to go to sleep early. I felt like doing something. I have a favorite activity making mundane things mean something special for me, like a game I'll play. I get points for doing nice things for myself, reaching goals, even being generous with my point allowances can earn me more points. After some hallmark is reached, I collect my points and get to reward myself with something nice, which gets me more points. Hence the self-generosity continues. Get the picture? This has been a very important thing to counteract the harsh reality of the world. It builds me up and helps me have kinder incentive to meet my goals or improve my life. Why not make life into a bit more of a game? So recently, after my collapse from this insane school semester, I have been focused on recuperation while house or pet sitting. It keeps me busy and happily isolated, catching up on me time, and I have lately picked up a theme of dressing up and self-care with my greater allowance of time. Particularly inspiring was a quote I read in a coffee table book I have that is dedicated to facing a fear a day. In it, a woman was quoted talking about wearing a bikini in her young years. She said she wished she had worn one every day through her teen and early adult years. So I decided to wear my white belly shirt with my stylishly ripped jeans. I never felt comfortable doing that as a teenager. I have a young face and have always seemed much younger than other people my age. It was affirming to my efforts to grow my confidence in my looks and made me feel sexy, feminine, and daring. I had some spare change in a change purse in a drawer and decided to head across the street to make it an outing to go to the CVS. I considered it my spare change challenge. I had to find something to reward myself with and buy it using only the change in the purse. In this day and age of skyrocketing inflation, would this be possible? I enjoyed finding little treasures around the store. I picked out things, perusing the aisles, a facial packet, travel-sized treasures. I felt bolstered when I seemed to turn a few heads. I posed next to the makeup aisle, putting on metallic rose gold sunglasses and a cat ear headband. I put them back and went toward the checkout at the front and got in line. There was a display stuffed with discounted items, and I found the winner. It was a lipstick that started out clear green and transformed the perfect shade of red based on its reaction to your skin's chemistry, making different shades of red for different skin types. The checkout clerk said it was originally $10. Now it was just around $3. I counted out my change. I was short 60 cents. I didn't want to get one of the other cheaper items anymore. I like pricier items going on sale. So I said, just a moment, and went out to my car to see if I had some more change. As it turns out, I didn't. I usually do, so I was frustrated. I saw a man pull up next to me in a small SUV. He had a child's car seat in the back. He looked approachable, so I decided to get myself to try socializing a moment and ask if he had change. I then felt embarrassed, like a homeless person at the door. He seemed tentative and a bit shy looking at me, and in a polite out said he didn't carry cash on him. Okay, thanks. No worries. Sorry to have bothered you. I counted my change again and realized I actually had more than enough to get it. I had miscounted before. I hadn't needed to bother and could have bought it smoothly with my lack of other funds going completely unnoticed, as had been my original goal. Come on, where's your poker face? So I went back and bought it. Mission accomplished. I felt like smiling on my way back out to the car. Points earned. As I was passing the guy with the car seat, he was now back in his car after running whatever his errand was. He called over to me, trying to get my attention. I didn't hear what he was saying. He was messing with bills in his wallet. I saw a stack of $1 and $5 bills, which he was actually displaying as he counted through them. Revealing his earlier statement was a lie. He did in fact have plenty of change or cash. Not that I cared at all. He didn't have to tell me if he didn't feel like being bothered. It seemed he felt bad about blowing me off earlier. He was calling me over. I said, "Oh, it's no problem. I actually had plenty on me after all. I'd miscounted." And I smiled kindly, ready to turn back to my car and leave. He asked with a voice that seemed softened with concern and a bit of nervousness at talking to a stranger, if I was hard-pressed for cash. "I could help you out with a few dollars, maybe 5, if you give me a blowjob." I had already leaned forward to hear what he'd had to say, and now the last few words seemed to drop off, like noise that was garbled, and it seemed like I was deaf for a moment. I didn't know if I'd heard what he just said. "What?" "I didn't hear you. What did you say?" He repeated his request. I felt stunned, even though I have been studying this topic in my human trafficking class all semester. It made something inside me drop off. All the decency I was just expecting, or just extending to you. Once again, there it goes, falling off a precipice. How much plummets down to those unknown inky depths where my natural respect for others gets replaced with disgust? What has broken off and fallen into the great nothing? It's like having your hand extended to accept something from another in an exchange, and having your hand freeze in the reaching across, stunned at what is not coming. As words sink in, and the gut freezes, twists, drops out. The hand is left hanging, its natural instinct to meet halfway and move fluidly, comfortable in this next progression of life, forgotten in mid-air. I didn't have my hand out. Thankfully, I didn't need a handout at all. But I went cold at seeing what he really was, at how manipulative his very approach was, at the child seat and likely unseen wife he would be driving back to. I would rather stay single than be one of these women married to such a disgusting lie, ready to dangle carrots in front of young girls to get access to their bodies if he thought they might be desperate to have money, desperate to eat. As he ran errands, pathetically seeking outs to his responsibilities and partner in between crying children and bouts of the flu. I had my own agenda for why I went out and for everything I was doing, including the damn shirt I wore. And this pathetic little worm just felt entitled to invade all of that, brazen and sniveling and trying to use a pretty girl's perceived vulnerability to exploit and coerce a sex act, knowing he should just give to the poor and actually help out because it was a need. That was his setup, his opener, before attaching his little proposition, his conditions. I am glad my response after a beat was, you could go to jail for that. And his shitty, prying, mournful little stare rolled up his window and drove away. This made me feel like I want them to all go to jail. It felt violating and disgusting, and no matter what I dress in, I have the right to be an unmolested American citizen going to my corner CVS to pick up whatever I need. I felt especially that this street harassment needs legal prosecution to have repercussions for this form of sexual harassment. I was really glad I could retort with, you could go to jail for this, when my mind was stunned by this exchange, and it sprung to my lips to say that, and that ended it right there. As someone who is not a sex worker, it made me feel safer in this sudden exchange. It gave me something. There were other huge things that were wrong with this moment. It was threatening to realize his modus operandi and disturbing to see how he hoped to pin me. Even if sex work were legal, there were stages of dirty transgression here in how he set me up to be exploited by vulnerable need. A freely operating sex worker who unashamedly likes to perform sexually for people as walk-ins or however they would have their operation set up, would still need to be at free choice, enjoying this as the option. They freely choose to make money. This means they would need to have other options be freely equally possible and decide they like this one better. I am not a sex worker, and the common trend of women desiring deeper exchanges invested in by being valued by an exclusive partner is beaten down ideologically in our society as corny or stupid, part of the shaming of emotional value, and that which falls under female things, even if they are the cornerstone of human decency and a healthy human psyche. Even if I wanted to have unlimited partners, multiple partners, none of these choices affects my human value. And if I change my outfit, that does not change my capacity for achievement or my inherent human value or right to respectful treatment. I did dress in a belly top, but I was only seeking my own joy, to go out in the night air and appreciate myself. Like my favorite Ailenerio song says, I do not show this skin for you. I show myself to know myself. If you think I'm beautiful, you are right. You can smile and be politely appreciative. And it is usually best if it is never even directly said, as most people are bad at respectful compliments. I can enjoy the buzz of my own youth. But this accessibility showed me how significant it is for girls everywhere in America and in the world, how they are treated in connection to the sex industry. Changing my shirt should not change how I am spoken to. I know that I am respectable. So what? A woman who has a different sex life loses her right to respect? The understanding that sex does not degrade anyone or any woman is necessary to raise up the entire human race. We must understand that being a sex worker does not devalue a woman's or a person's humanity or right to respectful treatment. Even within my experience as a girl who has not necessarily undergone social death by dying to all humanitarian respectful consideration, both in behavior and respect of personal agency, by becoming a sex worker, I was instantly equated with one because a man so alarmingly expected that much ease of access to a woman he did not know. Look at how there is no defining line, really. A girl going to school, walking down the street, in a club. It makes no difference to them. Women who are never sex workers are still constantly slut-shamed, hence the need for the marches at colleges like FIU and FSU. The way women are treated is a shifting scale, and it is subjectively slanted against me. What matters is how I show up for myself. My body is mine. I belong to myself. And how a person seeks to interact with my life and person is not to be taken lightly. It is a great significance to approach me and every other person who carries the same equal right.